Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. I'm your host Rob, and this video, we're going to be releasing this a little bit early this week. We're going to continue the March of the King series. This time we're doing Godzilla versus Megalon. Okay guys, welcome back. So, Godzilla versus Megalon. You know, I recently got this DVD because for a long time it wasn't out on DVD at all. It was still only out on VHS, and it came out on DVD finally earlier this year. And I've had it since it launched. I've watched it about 3 times, most recently, obviously today. And, you know, I don't quite... Here's the thing. I understand and I don't understand why people hate this movie. But I gotta say, the ending fight was very fun to watch. It was very, very fun. Now, in terms of the storyline, once again, it's somewhat alien. There's a race of people called the Cetopians, or Atlanteans, I like to call them, but Cetopians is what they're officially called. And they're pissed off at the not United States. They're pissed off at the world for testing nuclear bombs and such, and so on and so forth. And they decide that they've had enough, and they're going to release their giant cockroach named Megalon, which makes perfect sense because roaches would probably be the only thing to exist if there was a nuclear fallout. And they release Megalon to go and destroy the world, starting, of course, with Tokyo. And they have 2 henchmen that go out to basically steal and capture a robot made by some, I guess, scientist. You know, his name's Goro. And, you know, I think of all the potential robots you could kidnap in the world to control your monster, why would they choose him? For the sake of the plot. Let's be honest. That's just how it goes down. So they steal Jet Jaguar, and they take him, and they rewire him, and they you know, much like Tim Allen would, they rewired him, and they rewired him, and they send him off to control Megalon and guide him through his, you know, this path of destruction. During that whole time, obviously, the crew, the 2 men and the boy, they manage to escape from the captors, and Goro has a little device around his neck that can control and override the controls of the Cetopians over Megalon, or excuse me, over Jet Jaguar. So he orders Jet Jaguar to go and get Godzilla and get some help. Once the Cetopians are aware of this plan, they call Nebula M, which is where Gigan is from, and sure enough, they summon Gigan. Nebula M says, yeah, sure, you can borrow him. He failed us before, but take him. And, so Gigan's in flight. Megalon now is confused and utterly crushed that Jaguar has left him. And much like an adolescent, he goes around, he's hopping, he's trying to play, or he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So he's a very young roach. And Jaguar lands on Monster Island, gives Godzilla some flight patterns, and Godzilla nods his head and goes along. Now, I know I'm being sarcastic with this review, but that doesn't mean the movie's bad. Because you want to know something? I think the end battle is probably one of the most fun battles that I've seen in the series. Now, again, there is some more stock footage in this movie, which is very unfortunate. In fact, the whole time Megalon is wrecking Tokyo, it's basically stock footage of Ghidorah's gravitational beam. That's all it is. You see, they show a shot of Megalon hovering what looks like to him to be hovering above a city. But when they show the city getting destroyed, it is basically King Ghidorah's gravitational beam. So not too happy about that. Not a big fan of the whole stock footage thing. So finally, Jet Jaguar returns ahead of Godzilla because he can fly and Godzilla's swimming. And he engages Megalon, and they're fighting. He's giving it to Megalon pretty good. Megalon uses his hand drills to kind of burrow and surprise attack Jaguar, but to no avail. Finally, Gigan shows up, gives Jet Jaguar a cheap shot in the back of the head, and they start to tag team him and make Jaguar hit their bitch. So, then Godzilla shows up, and he shows up and he's waving and he's doing the stuff that kids would have loved at that time. But then it gets to the fight scene, and it's just kind of epic, really, when you think about it. I mean, he goes in there, he saves Jaguar, he starts kicking the ever-loving crap out of Megalon and Gigan at the same time. He'll hop to one side, punch one, hop to the next side, punch one, and they're falling, and he's doing his thing. And I think the really cool, and this is, I think, what a lot of people found corny, and I can understand this. To this day, to be honest, I still appreciate it. I think is the fact that they make the monsters here so human-like. Yes, they can't talk, but they give hand gestures, and they laugh. And there's even a part where Megalon bends over and tells them to kiss his ass. I mean, and is it corny? Should monsters be doing that? Probably not. But it's still funny. In some weird way, it works in this movie. And Megalon starts shooting Godzilla and Jet Jaguar with his fireball and puts them in a ring of fire where they can't escape. And then Jaguar puts Godzilla on his back, flies above the fire, lands, and Godzilla spits his atomic breath and starts wreaking havoc. Then Godzilla returns the favor and surrounds them in a ring of fire. Gigan tries to escape. Godzilla shoots him down in the air. I mean, it's just really, really... it was a really good battle, I think. Now... Overall, I thought it was a fun movie. I understand why a lot of people don't like it. Me personally, I think it's fun. It's a fun movie. It didn't take itself too seriously. I mean, come on. Look at the toga that guy was wearing. He looked like a reject out of the Animal House toga party from back in the 70s. Well, it was the 70s, but you know what I mean. If you've seen Animal House, the toga party, yeah, he looked like he was a reject right out of there. And yeah, there were a bunch of corny parts. There were a bunch of cheesy parts. But I've said it many times before. It's cheesy goodness. And that battle at the end was so much fun. I loved when Jaguar broke Gigan's arm, or at least it looked like he did. And then he gorilla pressed him, threw him in the air, and then Godzilla just turned around and blasted him. And Gigan decided to take off. And then the infamous Godzilla dropkick. Yes. And then after that, the signature tail smash. It doesn't get any better than that. It does not get any better in my opinion. So Godzilla vs. Megalon I think is a lot of fun. Yes, it is not for everybody. A lot of people found it corny. I do understand that. There are plenty of corny and cheesy parts. But for some reason, this is just, to me, it was a very, very fun movie to watch. I thought the ending battle was great. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of funny moments. In particular, like I said, Megalon turning around and telling him to kiss his ass was, for me, it was just so funny. And then the whole signaling, like Gigan first arrives and he looks at Megalon, points, and he goes like this, like me and you are together. Godzilla and Jet Jaguar are shaking hands. I mean, yes, monsters should not be doing that, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it was a fun movie to watch. And we get the nice, beautiful Jet Jaguar song at the end as a sign-off. What can you say? I mean, that's just good stuff. So that's it for this March to the King series. Again, Godzilla vs. Megalon, a lot of fun. A lot of people didn't like it. But me personally, it was a classic. And in terms of next week, I think we're going to be doing Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. But let me just confirm that here real quick, guys. So if you bear with me for a second, and I will look it up. But I'm pretty sure it's Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, which would be fun because I love that movie. But let's see where we're at. Yes, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. So that won't be this week, guys. Remember, Godzilla versus Megalon was supposed to be on the channel on Wednesday, but we're doing this early because of Christmas. So you will be seeing this, I think it'll be New Year's Day on a Wednesday, November 1st. January 1st, New Year's Day. We will continue the March to the King. We will be doing Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. And guys, we are not that far away from the... we're not that far away from the Showa series and heading into the Heisei series. We have basically Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, Terra Mechagodzilla, and then Return of Godzilla. And then we start the Heisei series. So we're getting there. We're getting there. The more we pull these movies down, the closer we get to the release of the actual movie for 2014. So it should be a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like Godzilla vs. Megalon. And I'll see you for the next March of the King Rewind review. Take it easy.